This is cause number 326-825. The case is styled the state of Texas versus LaShawn Bourgeois. We have Mr. Bourgeois appearing via Zoom. Mr. Bourgeois, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Bourgeois, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Bourgeois, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Bourgeois?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Bourgeois, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Alvin Samuel. Mr. Samuel, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Mr. Samuel, do you waive a record in Mr. Bourgeois' case?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Bourgeois, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about March 24 to 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 1.5 or more. Mr. Bourgeois, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Bourgeois, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Right.
Mr. Bourgeois, I also have before me a document that is titled, the misdemeanor plea admonishment is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1 on page 2 of this document. There are a set of initials, LGB, on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
I did.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Did you sign this document?
It's my signature, Your Honor.
And at the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case. You have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
I understand.
And Mr. Bourgeois, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bourgeois, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, he did.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, I did.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any
There's
objection?
no objection, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Let me see if you got an affidavit in this. And Mr. Samuel, you have advised and counseled Mr. Bourgeois. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Bourgeois, your attorney, Mr. Samuel, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Bourgeois, I will accept your plea guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that you plead guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that plea bargain agreement?
The agreement is for 20 days jail, and that's to run concurrent with cause number 21-37625.
Mr. Bourgeois, the state is offering that you serve 20 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case, Mr. Bourgeois, is $402. Mr. Bourgeois, will you be able to pay the $402?
No, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Bourgeois, I need to ask you a couple of questions. Mr. Bourgeois, are you currently employed?
No, sir.
And Mr. Bourgeois, do you receive any type of governmental assistance such as Medicaid?
No, sir.
Do you receive SSI?
No, sir.
SNAP?
No, sir.
TANF,
No, sir.
or do you live in public housing?
No, sir.
All right. Now, Mr. Bourgeois, do you have any form of income?
No, sir. Not at the moment.
Okay, now, Mr. Bourgeois, do you have any bills to pay? Any expenses such as rent,
No, sir.
utilities such as lights, gas, and water?
No, sir.
And are you required to pay any type of child expenses?
No, sir.
Okay, and what about food expenses?
No, sir.
Okay, so you don't have any pay, do you have to pay any transportation costs, anything of that nature?
Not at all.
All right, so Mr. Bourgeois, what about cell phone expenses?
No, sir.
Do you have any expenses?
I've lost everything, Your Honor. I have no expenses.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Now, Mr. Bourgeois, the court is going to find that you are indigent. And because based on that finding of you being indigent, the court costs in this case of $402 will be waived. That just simply means you will not have to pay it pursuant to 42.15 of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Bourgeois, I'll just reiterate what I just stated. The state is offering 20 days to be served in Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. The court costs in this case will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. And this case will run concurrent with cause number 21-37625. Mr. Bourgeois, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
It's fair.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Bourgeois, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Bourgeois, this will conclude your case. You can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You all too.
All right, and Mr. Samuel, I think this is your last case.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, you're excused and you have a blessed day as well.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Take care. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Miss Perazzo.